Hey there, Steve Gamache with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we have this time is the Kurosaki Fujin series, the Aogami Super Gyuto 210mm knife. So this line of knives has a core cutting edge steel with soft stainless cladding on either side of that core steel, so it's a 3-layer construction. And you can really see the cladding line here, it just pops, pops, pops. So that core steel is what's known as Aogami Blue Super. Reactive high carbon steel, and the heat treat's typically around 62 Rockwell for that core steel from him. The cladding is again full stainless, and it has a number of interesting things going on, as is typical for Kurosaki-san. This is a great looking, great performing knife. So the cladding has a Kurosaki or blacksmith finish on the top part where the grind is. They've done a kind of a frosted finish on that where the grind comes down towards the edge, and then there's some kanji put in here as well. It looks like it's probably laser engraved kanji. So, and then you've got this cool kind of driving rain slashing kind of pattern that's put into the blade for this series, and it's aggressive looking, very unique, really cool. This is an awesome looking knife. So weight and dimensions will vary. This particular one is 161 grams or 5.7 ounces. The edge length is right about 215 on the edge, or 8.5 inches. And the overall length is 360 millimeters or 14.2 inches. Spine thickness is going to vary a bit from knife to knife. This one is about 3.6 millimeters coming out of the handle above the back of the blade here. But then I got about 2.1, about halfway down. These will vary a little bit. And you can see as we get to the grind, which starts right in there, we start thinning out towards the tip. The tip's pretty thin. It's not super duper extremely laser thin, but it's pretty thin. It performs quite nicely. And these are also pretty thin at the edge, so they perform nicely there as well. So these are very good performing knives. The blade height is 47.5 at the back, so kind of a good medium height for this type of blade. Good clearance for your fingers on a pinch grip or racket grip, so lots of board clearance. Handles are just good quality, octagonal rosewood with a black Pacawood ferrule. These tend to be pretty smooth. You'll feel a little bit of difference between the wood. It's not perfectly smooth on most of these, but it's not objectionable by any means. And they typically are nice quality. They're well made. The glue up in the joint where the tang comes in is always pretty solid on these, so just well crafted. Circumference on this handle is about 74 millimeters where the two materials meet. And let's get our beauty shot on this, and it is a beaut. I've been using this one, so it's got a little bit of a patina starting to develop on the that core cutting edge steel, that Aogami Super. Of course, fit and finish are well done on these knives, as always, from him. And so here's the look. We kind of did a little bit of a close-up already. So you've got your kanji, you got your Kurosaki, you got your driving rain finish, and your frosted blade grind, and then the core steel peeking out from the edge. And again, this steel is a little bit of a patina starting to develop on it from some use for my part, just to get a feel for this knife. Here's the left side of the blade. You've got a polished spine that's not blackened, so a nice contrast with the black on the blade flats here. And then you've got the same thing on the choil. So you've got a bit of polish and relief on the choil. Really nicely done, very comfortable. Out of the box edge was a good solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Nicely crafted edge, very sharp out of the box. The blade, especially in the back half, is pretty darn stiff, and you know, gives you a good feel on the cutting board. Balance point is right about there on this particular blade, which is pretty doggone close for me. My particular pinch grip is just about right on the money. And let's look at the cutting board profile. So here's what the profile looks like. It's a great profile. It's and every knife might be a little bit different, but these tend to have a nice flat spot towards the back. It flows into a stop. It's definitely a stop, but it's not abrupt and not jarring. So it'll flow nicely into a stop. You've got a good solid flat section back here, kind of a low belly, medium low tip. So it's not going to rock super high, but I can get up there. And so it'll rock pretty nicely on things. And push-pull cuts, glide cuts, great chopping towards the back. So this is an awesome profile that they've put on this knife. And so just a great Nice looking package, awesome steel. Kurosaki-san is really good with his heat treat. Just for comparison's sake, I actually, on the last batch, I did a quick look review of the VG10 version of this, and it performed like an absolute laser. So I just wanted to compare the two to kind of see it. And again, you're going to get some variations on knife to knife. I will say between the two, this one is ground a little thinner, the VG10, and probably a little bit more laser-like in performance. This is definitely no slouch. You could get a couple other samples and that might be flipped around, but they're both really good performing knives. So, you know, one's all stainless, one's not. I actually kept this one, so that tells you how much I like it. I did some tests on some cabbage actually today with these, and they're both just blowing through. Not that many knives just flow through a head of cabbage when you're cutting it in half or cutting it in quarters. Obviously, slicing's a little bit easier with a lot of knives, but the term like butter comes to mind. And this one went through it like butter. This one went through cabbage like butter, if you get my drift. So both of them a nice even flow all the way down, no stopping where you got to go and finish it off. You don't have to super muscle it, just push on down and it just goes through great. So, you know, these have very low wedging characteristics, both of them, and just really good all-around performance. So nicely done, great line of knives. So this is the Kurosaki Fujin Aogami Super Gyuto 210mm knife.